Time Travel Astronaut here with a Let's Play of XCOM. Well, technically it's Open XCOM, which is a open source remake of XCOM. If you're a purist, it's not the same, but it's got mostly quality of life improvements. I think it's better than the original game. Uh, there's a link to their website in the description. This was taken from my Twitch stream. It ends up being around 73 videos, I think, because I try to break up each video with a battle mission. If you're not interested in like watching it broken up, if you want to watch it all at once, you can watch the raw stream files in my stream playlist, which is also down in the description. Other than that, I think what else is worth mentioning at the beginning? I play it on experienced. I'm not super good at the game, obviously. I don't do a lot of save scumming, but I think towards the end it does come up. There's a couple times when I have to load my game to avoid getting fucked by ethereals, but let's just get into it. So we're playing Open XCOM. And then like Jedi asked, it's just some very intrepid fans reprogrammed. Well, they basically made their own version of XCOM that plays identically with a bunch of extra options. I've already toggled some on. Up the resolution for starters. What is this? Geoscape viewport scaling mode based on a fixed resolution. Ah, fuck that. Now we're fine. Audio controls. Bunch of interesting controls, but anyways, advanced is what I was screwing with. What do we have here? We have save scumming. Enabled. So loading a game will reset the random number seed. So that means like if a guy's about to die and I save the game, there's a chance that when I load the game he might not get hit, because it redetermines all the rolls. We're not going to abuse that. I don't want to like load and save every single turn, but I mean, if the entire campaign's going to fall apart because of something, we can use this. That disables in-game saving? What? So I want it off? It was defaulted off. I'll trust Rav and leave it off. What was another one? Allow building queue. So now we can build things. Before you had to wait if you built something on the base. So like a path exists to it. But now we can queue up buildings, which it's not a huge thing. Just a minor quality of life. Psionic training available at any time. Normally if you want to train psionic soldiers, you have to do it on the 1st of the month. But now we can do it whenever. It still takes 30 to 60 days, but I mean, if we hire a guy and he gets to our base on the 2nd of the month, we can still train him in psionics. Realistic globe lighting, that just, the lighting looks a little bit nicer when we're on the Geoscape map. Bunch of other settings we're not using. When you hire soldiers, you can see what their psionic stats are. That's a little overpowered. You can like, you can tell a ship to land at another base. That'll come in handy like if it's about to run out of fuel. Terror from the Deep manufacturing rules allows you to produce multiple items per hour. I don't think that's going to come up because I'm not going to build a lot of factories. Spend researched items. Researched items are disassembled and removed from your stores like in XCOM 2012. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I don't want to do it, so I didn't turn it on. Field promotions means that people can't get promoted unless they participate in a mission, because normally people can get promoted just based on how many people are in your XCOM. That one's not a huge deal, so I'm going to leave that on default, which is no. Inventory stats, that's just quality of life. Anyone know if they fixed the 256 glitch in this version? This should fix all the common glitches and bugs. UFO extender accuracy I didn't turn on. That just gives all the guns accuracy drop off. which is going to fuck us over more than the aliens, so no thank you. Yes, we can see extra stats when we're on the inventory screen for a soldier. Their sprites will be a little more reflective of how they look in their loadout screen. That's just a very minor graphical upgrade. Instant grenades, that just changes the turn order a little bit for grenades, not a huge deal. Smooth bullet camera, that's just going to make the camera look a little bit shitty, a little bit less shitty when we fight. Allow psionic capture, is if a guy is mind controlled when we beat the mission, is he is automatically considered captured, which will come in handy. Alternate movement methods enables strafing, running, and independent tank turret movement, which is going to come in super handy for us. Not overly game breaking, but I like it. So we can have our soldiers run, which will tire them, but they won't use up as much of their turn. Tank can move one way, shoot another way. If I feel like naming a soldier after you, I don't name people after rookies just because they die so much. So I'll rename the squaddies once I get some people promoted up to squaddie. Override line of fire, that just means that we can shoot stuff no matter what. Alien bleeding is another one I liked. Is just aliens normally can't be wounded unless they just drop dead, but now you can actually inflict wounds that will kill them over time. You can like wing a dude and he'll bleed out instead of taking 0 damage. But anyways, that's all the... These are just options specific to Open XCOM. We haven't even started the game yet. Start a new game. Iron Man, of course, means you can't save the game. I'm not nowhere near good enough at XCOM to press that button. Turn off. Now, basically, if I can remember what the difficulty does, is I know that in not Open XCOM, there was this horrible bug where no matter what you did, the game would always run on beginner. Or would always run on superhuman. It always ran on beginner, because to imply that I could play this game at superhuman would be a lie. So the big thing about beginner, which is the difficulty I normally play on, is that enemies have half armor and half accuracy. So already just going up to experienced is a bit of a jump. And then on Superhuman, I think their stats are 25% better, and about twice as many aliens spawn, and they're assholes and they attack way more often. But we're not going to do that. We're going to put on Experience because I'm an experienced XCOM player. Alright, now we have to select the site for our new base. This is another great feature of Open XCOM, is it shows you the radar coverage that the base will give you. So this little circle in the center is a small radar station. That's what we start with. The larger circle is the large radar station, which we can build, and then the largest circle is a secret, which I will not give away. Now, here's a fun fact about me when I play XCOM, is in order to keep track of my bases, I give all my bases racist names based on food from the country they're in. We're going to build our base here in Greece, because as you can see from the inner circle, it gives us coverage of most of Europe and Egypt. And it gives us a little bit of coverage in Russia, which we want because Russia gives us a lot of money. Each country gives us funding every month based on how we perform against the aliens. If we totally fuck up, the country will back out completely. We lose that money. Russia, America, and South Africa are not countries you want to piss off because they're your top 3 funders. But conversely, everyone in Europe barely gives you any money, but they're so close together, it's really easy to protect them. Which adds up to, I think, like $700,000 a month by keeping them all safe. So we put our... I like to put my first base in Europe because it gives you good coverage of a lot of countries. And then we can expand later on. We'll put one like in North America. Probably put one in South Africa just to give us so much money. And then we'll put one in the Pacific Rim. I see people are trying to guess what my name is for this first base, and we're going to call our first base Feta. So Feta base is online, and time's going to slowly advance until we catch a UFO, which is not going to go very well because we have a shitty 1999 small radar system installed. Let's go to our base. So down here at the bottom, we've got our 2 interceptors. I forget what interceptors. I think an interceptor is an F-16. There's an in-game wiki. The Interceptor is a combat aircraft with dual pulse detonation engines. Alright, so they don't specifically say what kind of ship it is. I was mixing it up with Xenonauts. Which is a it's like a reimagining of XCOM. I really enjoyed Xenonauts. But anyways, we have an interceptor. The Sky Ranger is the other thing we have, which is this is going to carry our dudes to missions. Unlike XCOM 2012, for those of you that have never played this game, is I can take like, well, it says right there, I can take 14 soldiers with me on a mission. None of this XCOM 2012, you only get 6 dudes shit. We can bring 14 guys on a mission. We can have multiple squads all over the world. They should have let you design the base if this is recoded. They actually do, Jedi. I just didn't turn that on because I didn't want to slow down this intro more than it already is. But there is actually an option in Open XCOM where I can organize this base as I want. But usually, I don't know. I think designing your base specifically for defense is like a little too much. Because I've had my base attacked in this layout and it's still pretty defensible. So anyways, we're in our base, we're in Feta. We've got $4 million to our name. We gotta buy a bunch of stuff before we get underway. What's our base information here? Alright, we've got room for 8 more soldiers. Is that right? Personnel available, personnel total. Alright, we don't have room for soldiers. Wait, why the fuck does it say soldiers 0 to 8, but my living quarters is only half full? Why would it be 8? That's fucking... Because see, engineers, the total is 10 because that's how many people we can fit in our factory. Scientists, how many people we can fit in our lab. Oh, no, wait. We have 8 soldiers total, and they're all assigned to the Sky Ranger, which is why there's none available. Okay. Living quarters is... coughing on my own saliva. Living quarters is about half full, so we can hire another 22. Get a spread of scientists and soldiers, because we want to get all our shit going right away. We've got a little bit of room in the warehouse. We got to build another one. Laboratory and workshop are empty. They can hold 50 dudes. We've got 3 hangars, which are filled. Defense strength is 0. We'll research some of that as we go. Short range detection, long range detection. Now another bug, which they fixed in Open XCOM, is that in the original XCOM is only the first one of each radar would actually do anything. But Open XCOM fixes that. I think how it works is like every 15 minutes or whatever, each radar you own pulses within that circle and gives you a chance to catch a UFO. So we're going to have a couple bases that are just radar bases. Like it's just going to be an elevator. Maybe a couple dudes will live there to protect it. Hangar. Radars. Stores, what do we got? We've got some missiles, which we don't want. The Stingray shit, we actually want to load up on avalanche missile launchers. The cannon's also a little mediocre. We've got some pistols, we've got some rifles. Got a heavy cannon and an auto cannon. I can't remember which one's better. I think the auto cannon shoots faster and that's the one we want. Got a rocket launcher, small rocket. We've got some grenades, smoke grenades. There's a lot of shit we gotta buy. Okay. We'll check our soldiers last, because that's going to be another fucking huge time sink for us. Build facilities, though. We need another warehouse. We need another radar station. Another laboratory. That's too much. Abort this laboratory. It's going to be a while before we can even afford 50 scientists. Look at that. Half our money's gone just from queuing up these 2 buildings. And we need an alien containment. That's also a fucking huge priority. Otherwise, we can't catch aliens. And unlike XCOM 2012, actually, I can't remember if XCOM 2012 did that. There's different classes within each alien species, and each one is a research subject. Whereas I think in XCOM 2012, it would just, you research each species once. But we could capture like 3 guys from the same ship, and they could all be different research projects based on their class. So what do we got? Got a warehouse. We've got an alien containment. Well, let's build another living quarters. That'll round out our base. Give us a nice chunk of feta. Manufacture. We can't do. Research. That's purchase recruit brain. Research. Laser weapons is first up because we gotta get away from our shitty 1999 assault rifles. The select noise is throwing you off because it's the same as, yeah, this is from back when everyone just used the same stock sound effects. So we've got our 10 super geniuses we've kidnapped and hidden in here. They're gonna figure out how to make laser guns. Alright, now we can start buying shit. That's not the right screen. Purchase. Scientists. Ah, fuck. This is going to make this first month super lean for money, but we're going to buy some scientists. We got to pay to have them assigned to XCOM, and then we have to pay every month for their salary. Alternatively, because they never leave the base, it might just be hush money we send to their family. XCOM's definitely a little dark, as you can tell by this man with large briefcase. Several shadowy figures in the background. And we're going to hire... Oh, fuck, how many guys did I say I could buy? I can hire another 22. So we're going to hire another 10 soldiers, partially to go through their stats and cherry pick our squad, but also partially because we're going to lose a shitload of guys on our first mission. Because when they send you to fight aliens, they decide you should do it in a jumpsuit with no body armor. Engineers we can't afford. Sky Rangers and Interceptors, no thank you. We're going to not sell our Stingrays just yet. We'll buy one, which will give us 2 avalanche launchers. We can put an avalanche launcher and a cannon on our ships. And then, well, avalanches are super cheap. Avalanches also, I think, not enough storage space. This is going to be a huge fucking problem. Oh boy. We could buy a little remote control drone, but there's not enough room. So let's just focus on our squad here. Fuck, my units are all messed up. Gotta name one of the guys Rodriguez. It's an action movie cliche. Yeah, we'll name a guy Rodriguez. 5, 6, 7, 8. I like to have a lot of clips. Because they will consume their ammo. You'll go through a lot of ammunition when you play safely because you'll level the terrain. Just take pot shots that probably won't hit. We have 1 heavy cannon, 1 auto cannon. I think we want the auto cannon and we want the auto cannon high explosive rounds because the guy that mans our auto cannon he's going to be in charge of just taking out walls for us. Give him 32 shells, although I think that's actually a crate, not an individual shot. I think the rocket launcher is actually good for taking out terrain too, but I just like the autocannon because it looks cool. Grenades, we want... Ah, fuck. We want a couple stun rods. The rifle is garbage, just get autocannons. You're not wrong, but the problem is right now, until I get the warehouse, the autocannons are too big. Like, we're already in trouble here for our inventory. I wanted to get some smoke grenades for cover. I wanted to get some proximity grenades to help cover our back. I wanted some electro players. Like, we can't fight at night until we get some electro players. I can only buy 4. What the hell did I buy too much of? It's 32 rifle clips probably didn't help. I think, though, that the... So, yeah, we got $600,000 to make it through the rest of this month. We're going to lose a bunch of that on maintenance, but we're also going to get paid next month by the UN. Alright, let's check our squad. Let's quickly go through their stats. Time units, that's how much shit they can do in a turn. Stamina, I completely forget. We're going to consume that when we run. I think it also gets consumed if you carry way too much shit. Health, that's the blood that's going to fall out of you when the aliens find us. That might as well be 1 hit point at this point. Do the aliens carry cash money to loot off their bodies? You can actually sell their bodies on the black market or something when we bring them back. We can also sell all their guns and stuff. Technically, they have money, yeah. You're absolutely right, Fat Cow. They technically have cash money. Health might as well be 1 hit points because they have, like, wacky alien guns and we're wearing jumpsuits. Bravery is if they're going to lose their shit. This stat is actually not as important as you'd think. Reaction is their... I think that's just a flat percentage. Or, oh fuck. It's either a 38% chance to shoot guys that he sees, or he needs at least 38 time units to shoot. I think it's a percentage. I think he has a 38% chance to counterattack. 44% firing accuracy, that's awful. He's really good at throwing shit though. Apparently Vitor used to be a baseball player, football player. Melee accuracy, nobody fucking cares. That only affects... I think that affects just the stun rod. And then strength affects his ability to carry items without losing his stamina, I think. Octay Akaya apparently went to shooting shit school. That's a lot of stamina, actually. 52? No, not really. Okay. Ote knows how to shoot. Eric's not so much. Olo Bumney. Chinwei. These are some wacky-ass names. Gabrielle Schneider. Also, shit. Their stats will all level up based on what they do in the fight. So, we have a lot of guys with like 40% accuracy, but once they start shooting shit, they'll come back and be better shots. 55, 66. Now, if you wanted to be a huge piece of shit, you could just keep hiring and firing soldiers till you get guys like Taylor here with 66% accuracy and 70 stamina. Give him an auto cannon, he's going to run for days with it and actually hit things. 58. You die? Holy shit. I think I hired an illiterate barbarian. What are you going to do to those aliens? You die. Is that your name? You die. I expect good things from you die. He'll probably die in his first mission, though. Vitor, okay, so fucking Christ. Now, XCOM lets us see their stats when we're equipping them, which is good, because normally in the original XCOM, you'd have to, like, rename them to reflect their stats. So you could be like, oh man, like, you die. I think one naming convention people would do is, like, they take the first letter of each of these stats. So it'd be like, you die, and they'd put, like, an F, because his firing accuracy is really high. But anyways, those are the stats. We're not going to get too attached to these guys. We're not going to get too attached to anybody, because as you can see, there is a button specifically for when they fucking die. Hold on. We have 10 days. In 10 days, we can start buying more shit. So now we just gotta wait for that fucking... We don't even get our things instantly, because this game doesn't fuck around. We gotta wait for these things to be shipped to us from the UN. Let's look at our funding. So yeah, USA gives us almost $1 million. If we do well, they'll actually up their funding. I almost guarantee you they're going to lower their funding. So the reason you make a base in Italy or Greece like I did is like 300,000 from the UK, 600 from France, 350 from Germany, 300 from Italy, 200 from Spain. Like, we make these guys happy for a couple months in a row. That adds up to more than the USA. Am I going to do Terror of the Deep? No. I'm going to do just this one. This is the only one I like from the original series. I'll do this one, and then one day in the future I'll do the XCOM 2012, then Enemy Within, and then XCOM 2. I didn't like Terror from the Deep. I was bad at Interceptor. Apocalypse confused the shit out of me. Enforcer was awful. So I make $6 million a month, which is pretty fucking good. The problem is we're going to get a big juicy bite out of our ass when we got to pay for everything. Because those ships are on loan from the UN. I think we pay like $2 million just on our planes. So we're waiting. As you can see, the sun is slowly setting. XCOM 2 confirmed a Terror of the Deep expansion? Really? So my greatest fear, starting a new XCOM save, is shooting down a ship at night. Because you can't see shit at nighttime and the aliens aren't affected by night. If we shoot something down at night, we're just going to leave the crash site until the sun comes up. Because I think you can leave a crash site for about 24 hours before it goes away and the country gets mad at us. And after 24 hours, I'm not sure if the country cleans it up for us, or the aliens just get away. In Xenonauts, one of the things I loved about Xenonauts is when you shoot down a ship, well, hello! Is when you shoot down a ship in Xenonauts, you can actually carpet bomb the crash site, like if you don't want to send a squad to it. And that's great. So we have a very small ship. It's very high, and it's north of us. There's a good chance we're not going to be able to catch this little rascal. So we got to choose who we're going to send. We could send the Sky Ranger with an escort of interceptors, just so we land there right away. But one, it's going to be nighttime. And two, a very small ship is just one little guy. He's pretty much just driving around in a space smart car. And I can almost guarantee you that it's going to get blown the fuck up. Now there's a little circle here because our ships are actually capable of like sending out radar pulses themselves. Oh god damn it, we're double fucked here because not only is it nighttime, is we're gonna shoot this thing down over the Mediterranean. No, there we go. Now, of course, because they're spaceships, our F-16 can barely keep up with it. So unless he slows down to spy on Germany, we're not gonna. Oh, here we go. We're fighting him. Now we're going to go for a aggressive attack, because we just got to get him down. First missile's going to kill him. UFO destroyed. Just exploded in the air. There's nothing we can do about that. What you could do is equip just cannons on your ship. But cannons are really awful. There we go. So we shot down our first ship, which they'll actually like. They'll actually be glad we did that, because you get points. That's my base. You accumulate points based on what you do. And the aliens get points based on what they do. And then at the end of the month, the difference is our XCOM rating. So you want to shoot down ships. You want to clear crash sites. You want to stop terror missions. The best way is to shoot the ship down, obviously. But if you're a huge piece of shit, which frankly I am, is you wait for the ship to land and begin its mission. And that's when you send in your soldiers. Because the ship hasn't crashed. Everything will be intact. You can recover the fuel core. You can take way more stuff, but of course that really pisses off the UN, because under the hood, you lose points for not shooting it down. But ideally you get more points from all the shit you salvage. But anyways, there's some pretty interesting graphs here. See what we can do. This. We can track our UFO area activity. And this is really handy for when your radar coverage is shit, because I think every month, just like the UN sends you information regardless of your radar coverage. So they'll be like, oh man, like, I think there was one in Antarctica. Like, see, right here, we don't have radar coverage in fucking Antarctica, but apparently it went up. So there's UFOs there. If this graph is out of control, there's a chance that they built a base. But ideally, we want to fucking keep these bars as low as possible. So let's just see what we got here. Antarctica's got some guys, South America. Europe, that's the one we just shot down. So here's about 10 pixels per square. Went up 1 pixel, obviously we shot down 1 UFO. North Africa, that's where he came from. Huh. Not sure if that meant he spent more time in Africa, or there was a second UFO we missed. Southern Africa, that's where he showed up. This is great. I didn't use these graphs very much. So his mission must have originated in Antarctica based on this graph. So he started in Antarctica, flew up through Southern Africa, and he came through Northern Africa into Europe, which is where we shot his ass down. Central Asia, Southeast Asia, holy shit. Big trouble in Little China, or Big China as they like to call it. Siberia, Australia. See, you can use these graphs to like plot out where to put your next base. Basically, is one good way to do it. Like for example, I'm almost a little tempted to put my next base in Pacific Rim based on how this goes. UFO activity in countries, this is just way more precise. If you're trying to save a funding nation, because if they get too mad, they'll back out. I think I mentioned that earlier. XCOM activity in areas. This is kind of pointless. I mean, I can just fucking... This is me. This is me playing the game. Look, here's my activity. 100% of my activity has been in Europe. Although it goes to 180. So I don't think this is a measurement of my total use of XCOM resources. XCOM activity in countries. Income is fucking pointless. We don't need to worry about that just yet. Now we literally just sit here until we start catching UFOs. It'll get a lot more interesting later on when we can catch more UFOs, because right now we just have to hope they fly over Europe. Because they could be just probing the shit out of guys in Wisconsin right now, and we don't know. Oh, our stuff came.